You're listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Hi, I'm Davey.
And I'm Mitch.
And we are
the Bargain Bin Gamers.
La 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 la.
The Bargain Bin Gamers.
Sorry, I just discovered that button exists on Mixer. And
We were spending the last 2 minutes just playing with it, so.
I know. No, I'm not going to keep doing that.
Don't do it.
This is the podcast and YouTube show where we put the gay in gaming.
While also looking after your hip pocket.
And I really hope that your hip pocket is feeling well tended to.
It's bulging.
Yeah, your
Hip pocket.
I'm going to take that away from you.
That's going to become a new thing here on
The Bargain Bin Gamer.
I'm so sorry, everyone. He hasn't even had a coffee. I don't know what he's doing.
I've had 3. But here we are. But before we begin, we would just like to give a big shout out to all of our BQN podcast network patrons, especially to this show's associate producers,
Sam Johnson and Mei M.
Mei M. M for May.
M for Mitchell.
M for Mitchell. Oh dear, maybe that's what May meant by that.
That was also weird calling me by my full name.
Mitchell.
It's like my mum. That was weird.
Yeah. Mitchell. Mitchell, come hither.
Mitchell.
I'm taking that away from you.
I wonder if it's got like any other... No, never mind. Anyway, I mean, it's also got one like this where I can tell you to f*** off.
Wait, which one is it?
That one.
Why don't you go get Patreon exclusive?
Yeah. How about you just go and stick that right up your ass?
I don't know why you need to censor my ass.
I don't know. But I'm having too much fun.
Yeah, you are.
But remember, if you would like to help keep this and other BQN podcasts coming to you every single week, sign up to a Patreon over at
Patreon.com/BQN.
For as little as $2 to $5 a month, you get access to early episode releases, exclusive Bargain Bin Gamer Let's Play videos, and Patreon-only podcasts like Davey's Warp Speed Reviews and Amy's Math Moments.
Huzzah!
Huzzah.
Huzzah, huzzah, huzzah.
Did it in one take.
Yeah, exactly. No, get on it because it does help us, improve the quality of our show. I mean, before we got all these associate producers,
I could not do this.
Yeah, so if you really want to keep funding this, please.
Premium entertainment right here.
That's what they've subscribed for.
Absolute premium entertainment. Here we are on another Sunday in somewhere in Melbourne.
Somewhere in Melbourne. You can geolocate if you want.
Yeah, that's right. We are here in Melbourne and having a wonderful time playing cheap bargain bin gay games. Is that not just amazing?
Wow, what a wrap up
What
that
a time
is.
to be alive.
What a sell that is. So, Davey, why don't you tell the lovely people what we've been playing?
Well, this is actually a really interesting one. So this is a bit of a rehash. I'm just going to be upfront with the listeners and the viewers. We recorded an interview last week with an individual by the name of Jax Cord, who has made a game called
Sounds of Summer Thunder.
And
Shout out to you, by the way, Jax.
unfortunately, our microphones weren't plugged in properly, so the audio of Mitch and I is fucking shit.
Maybe he was too busy playing with the fucking soundboard.
Yeah, it could have been. Anyway, Jax is really, really good. But anyway, it's kind of worked out for the best because I think it's better if we have a bit of a discussion about Sounds of Summer Thunder and then we'll share with you some of the insights that we got from the interview with Jax because Jax's audio sounds great. So we are going to bring you some clips from that interview throughout this review. So let's start by talking about it. Let's get into it. So we're diving into a visual novel in development by a BQN Patreon subscriber, Jax Cord, as I mentioned. Mitch, can you tell us a bit about Sounds of Summer Thunder?
By God, will I. So, Sounds of Summer Thunder, you meet someone called Cody. He's like a modern common gym rat. He gets zapped by some strange purple lightning and he time travels back to the 1898. Choices Matter, an alternative history, a visual novel musical set in the East Coast of the USA. LGBTQIA plus with romance options.
Yeah, which is just options.
And the options are, will you fuck them immediately or not?
Yeah, which you and I tried relentlessly to do.
We were pretty bad.
Yeah, so we're going to walk through the gameplay, the story, the visuals, and all the messy brilliance that is this very interesting little bargain title that you can get on itch and Steam. And we're going to bring in Jax's thoughts too, because as I mentioned, we did spoke to him earlier, and I will admit, you know, we went into our interview with Jax last week with some interesting thoughts about the title, right? So, and you'll learn as we go along that, you know, Jax has been building this game from scratch.
Yeah, all by himself, basically.
Yeah. So, you know, you've got a little bit here to say about that as per the script.
So Jax had a lot to say about the history as a writer, the inspiration for the game, and the challenges that he faced learning how to program a visual novel from scratch, and why he had to use AI in some aspects of the design, mostly for a cost-cutting reason, which makes total sense.
Yeah, I don't know if it was cost-cutting reason, but we'll get into more of that later. But I think it's an interesting discussion and debate, because I know there's probably a lot of people in this space who are like AI, and we're going to have a bit of a call out to help Jax as well. But you know, Jax is a big supporter of the network, and we really wanted to talk more about the game. So buckle up. Let's dive in and buckle.
There we go. I know what's coming. Premium content, by the way.
Premium content. Let's get into Sounds of Summer Thunder, everyone. Let's start with initial impressions, right? So it's a big download.
Yes.
Which you
Bigger than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, exactly. It's and visual novels are. You remember Straight was the same, right?
Yes.
That took ages to download because there's so many like pre-rendered images and they're all in high quality and high def.
Yes.
But not to mention that, unlike a lot of other visual novels, Sounds of Summer Thunder has voice acting.
And it's got music.
It has got music, yeah.
And I think that makes sense because that's probably where all the extra space has gone into it. They've got the voice acting, got, which Jax does himself.
No. If you look in the credits for the game, it's actually done by quite a few people. So Jax has had some help, which you know, we'll play some clips about that in a bit. But yeah. So Jax has had some help with that. There are other people helping out and what have you, which is really, really good. And there's music in there because he describes it as a musical. So let's hear from Jax right now with a little bit about what Jax had to say about the game, its design, and then we'll come back with a little bit of our thoughts right after that.
It's a visual novel musical, exploring a time travel story with it's actually three main storylines that it kind of branches off into almost immediately, because you've got the crazy storyline, you've got the himbo storyline, and then you've got where Cody is more of a clever dude. One of the first things I ever got published back in the early 2000s was a short novella called The Color of Spring Lightning, which is the story of Cody time traveling. Jarvis finds him, rescues him, and then they end up having a tryst, and that's basically the novella. But I always felt like it was such a big idea, you know, the possibilities of what he could do. So I toyed around with the idea of expanding that into a novel, but with the three timelines, I could never figure out, you know, which one do I want to pursue, because they all had very interesting aspects to it. When I, back in my previous life, when I had a partner, we were together for almost 22 years. And at that time I was basically a house husband. So I had time to sit around and write and do all these things until he passed away. And then that pretty much, I thought, ended my writing career. So I had to go back into the job force. And then when I retired, I decided, well, you know, let's go ahead and try to get something going with this. And with the market of the ebooks lately, you know, the sales have been going down, and I'd always had this desire to try doing a video game. And I thought, well, you know, do or die, let's go ahead and do this. So I stumbled across the RenPy, which is basically a wrapper around Python to structure for visual novels. It's very easy to get started with. I thought, well, I'll take that, and just to make life easier on myself, I would take something I'd already previously written, so that way I can focus on the programming part, not worry about the writing aspect of it. So I picked Color Spring Lightning and got into it, and then again, all these other ideas I'd had previously started coming into play. And with the possibilities of RenPy, I kept seeing, okay, well, we can make our choices. We can go this way. We can go that way. It's taken quite a while because I started working through Fiverr and just started, sending out files and saying, hey, I'd like you to try out for this voice actor or try out for this song or whatever, or the artwork. Artwork has actually been much more of a challenge than the voices or the music has been, because a lot of the work in the game right now is actually AI generated, which I only put in there as placeholders. I'd always intended to have a real artist, come in and join the project. But so far, I just haven't found anybody who wanted to really tackle it. But the voices and the music are all either me or people from Fiverr. And I found some really awesome talent there. A big part of the music is actually done by me myself in FL Studio, because I've been playing with that for years and years. Growing up, I always had kind of a split family because my dad was always, the very intellectual scientist. And then my mom's family was very, artsy and musical. So I kind of grew up with both of those. And then probably fourth grade, when I had to choose between going to either math camp or band camp, and I chose math camp. So that led to my computers and programming and all of that. But the music has always been there. It's always something I kind of played around with, and the writing too.
Yeah, so anyway, we're back. We're back. Thank you for sharing those insights with us, Jax. So let's talk about it, right? So when you started playing versus after talking to Jax about the art and the graphics and the story and all that kind of stuff, what were you thinking before and after?
So before going into it, I went in pretty blind. Obviously, we had like some inklings as to what the story was going to be. And I remember booting it up, and the first thing that I saw was Cody, like the most stereotypical gay man possible. He's like hot and fit and he doesn't think and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, it's just going to be like a little smut game. But it's actually like a lot more than that. The characters had like really good depth, and there was cute music in there and things like that. So I think from tip to tail, from the start, I didn't really know what to expect other than, I guess I'm going to get in people's pants. And then afterwards, I was like, oh, these characters are really nice. Look at the well-written.
Yeah, that was what stood out to me. I'm like, I thought, okay, this person is a writer.
You love that,
yeah,
you writers,
because it's a bit rough as a visual experience. Like there's little quirks in the graphics. The characters move around the screen very funnily.
Just JPEG their way in.
Sometimes they don't have legs, but they look good. But the actual characters themselves are written and performed really quite well. And I asked Jax about that. I was like, oh, okay, so you're actually a writer. And as you would have heard in the clip just then, Jax is actually published and has done a lot of short stories and novellas, usually in this kind of queer romance kind of space. Very interesting to hear that this was something that, he was retired, his partner passed away, which I found really heartbreaking to hear. And this is just a passion project. He wanted to try and, after being a bit of a gamer himself back in the day, wanted to try and branch out and try something different as a different way to bring his stories and characters to the world.
Definitely. And I think you are right where it really does shine in the character writing, because they are characters. They're not just like hot people walking around. Yes, they are hot. And yes, I tried to have sex with all of them. But they're actually like well written. They have like flaws. There's an underlying current of like queer acceptance in the game that we'll touch on. Like there's actually like some like meat on the bone. So it's not just a shallow experience, which I was really, really happy with. I thought that was great.
Yeah, definitely. And like the imagery and artwork and all that stuff, and it looks good. The music was cool.
I thought it was really
There were
charming.
some original songs. Jax himself describes it as a musical, and that's because there are some musical bits that play
At the end of every day.
which is kind of cute. I like the idea of the story itself, where you are going back in time and you're encountering queer people in a time when it was not okay to be queer, which is, I think, probably one of the biggest elements of this game.
Yeah.
Or this. Okay, pause for a moment. We keep saying game. Is it a game?
Well, you interact with it and you play it. So, yeah, technically, I guess it's a game. But, yeah, it's a visual novel, so it probably teeters the line. Would you call it a game?
I mean, I think I call all of these things a game because they're on my laptop and I'm interacting with it in some form.
Yeah.
But no, visual novels themselves are an entire
They're their own thing.
They are a digital form of entertainment.
Correct, yeah.
You know, they take typical storytelling and add slight interactive elements, which is usually in the form of some choices. And there are some different paths that this game will take based on those choices. Not all visual novels do that.
Yes.
A lot of them there will be like a dialogue choice here and there, which doesn't really affect the outcome. But you know, Jax did actually touch on the fact that no, there are a lot of different ways to go. So let's hear a little bit more from Jax on that.
Well, how many spoilers can I give? Because you know, we've got the three main storylines. For the Himbo storyline, he's going to end up causing a lot of trouble in the timeline because, you know, he's just going to do whatever. And most likely, because his strongest attraction is going to be towards Patrick. So he's most likely going to get involved in the music and the music industry, and there's going to be eyes on that. Let's just leave it at that. And for the crazy storyline, it actually continues a little bit into day 2. And then we have the first dream sequence, and that's going to be the big influence on that storyline. As far as the story itself, though, I'm pretty happy with where it is right now. Unless there's going to be some big idea or revelation that comes up later down the road, I wouldn't want to change that, but definitely the visual aspects. Maybe play around a little bit more with the music and trying to get more of the music in it. Because I think so far there's really aren't very many songs in day 1. It really kicks off with day 2 because every single one of the storylines has its own song it starts off with. It hasn't really found its audience yet, I don't think, because it's, you know, and I'm not worried about it, though, because I had the same issue when I first started publishing the novels and the stories. You know, it takes time for people to find it, and then word of mouth spreads, and then when you put out your next title, it kind of starts snowballing from that. So that's what I'm expecting is as I get into day 2 and day 3 and day 4 releases, it will start picking up more of an audience.
And welcome back to the Bargain Bin Gamers.
I've had helium.
So anyway, that was Jax telling us all about the different storyline options. What did he describe them as again? There was like there was a bimbo one, right? You can be...
Oh, yeah, there's the brain one, there's the bimbo, like the himbo one.
Himbo.
And then there was one other. There's kind of like 3 archetypes that you can go with. So you can kind of be smart and have your wits about you. You can be a dumb himbo that just wants to suck everyone off. And then there's the third one. And which one did you do?
Oh, I was a massive whore.
Barely bleeped it. Get that?
Yeah.
I did the same, unfortunately. I wanted to flirt with everyone. Except for that one little bitch, Harrison. Hated him. Good guy.
Wait, was Harrison the one?
He's the one that showed up and he was like, oh, you've got another boy here.
Oh, was he the one in like the suit shop?
No. He was the one that showed up at Jarvis's house.
Oh, okay.
And he was like, oh, you're with someone else. We used to have a thing, but we're not. I was like, girl, get out of my face.
Yeah. I'm not normally this cheeky in these types of games, but I decided that Kobe was hot and I thought Jarvis reminded me of Heath Ledger. So
Yes.
Jarvis is the Victorian era or 1890, whatever it is, era American gentleman.
Yes.
you know, and he just, I don't know, he was sexy. I liked his voice. I liked the way he was characterized.
He was a bit weird, which I really liked. Like he was a bit like odd, which turned me on because he was kind of shy and a little meek, and I was like, oh, you're so cute.
Yeah, and I don't know if it says more about me than it does about Jax, who made the game, that I felt tempted to be slutty because of the way the game is written.
Yes. Well, you're thrust into the lives of many men.
Yeah, you are thrust into the lives of many men.
Mm-hmm.
As Reese Nicholson would say, I like many men. And that's it. Shout out to Reese.
I was going to say national treasure, by the way.
National treasure. Yes, absolutely. No, there's even moments where, like, so because you're back in the past, you know, they react because you've got a mobile phone with you and sets of keys and all kinds of other interesting.
And you're wearing a tank top, which is unheard of.
And you're wearing a tank top, and which is torn
very sluttily.
Very sluttily. But like, there's even a moment where Jarvis picks up the phone, and it is the most sexual description of holding a phone I have ever come across.
The game wants you to fuck.
It's just like he fingered the docking port or something like that, slid his fingers along the phone's smooth surface. I'm like, I've never read a romance novel, but I feel like this is like, you know, like Gay Mills and Boone kind of territory.
What a reference, by the way.
I know.
My question to you is, in the first night, did you sleep with Jarvis?
Absolutely.
See, I was nice and I let him be good. I said I won't brush you.
Well, this is where you get, Jack's talked about the different sort of branching storylines that are possible, and this is where things get interesting because you are given some moral dilemmas in the sense that, well, you know, I could be changing the course of history here.
Yes. You're teaching these people what a phone is.
Yeah. And then I think that's where what I was picking up from the time I spent with it, and I haven't played through all of it because there's a lot to play through in these visual novels all the time.
Yeah.
But one of the things I found is that, like, there seemed to be an element of almost wanting to start like a queer movement or like a pride movement, because Kobe was very typical privileged white gay male living in 2025, just like, fuck that shit. Be whoever the hell.
I'm going to be queer out and proud.
Yeah,
like,
I'm a hot, muscly gay white man. I can do whatever the hell I want.
And suffer no repercussions.
Exactly.
The law is always on my side.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, you are right. I didn't get as far into it to see it like come to fruition, but there was definitely a current of like being out and proud, and they discussed, you know, like what it was like to be queer back then and having to live so transiently with other men and things like that and not really be able to have a relationship. And I don't know, I thought it was really sweet.
Yeah. So I think there's a good marker here to then now flip over to Jax, and let's hear what Jax had to say about the queer representation and the queer themes in the game.
Well, I just want it to be, you know, lighthearted, fun. Well, no, I don't think visual novels are all that flooded. Partly because there's so much diversity in it. You know, there's so many different communities of it. There's the furry side, and there's the hentai side, and you know, all these different aspects. So as far as like, you know, the gay male side, there really isn't that much, I don't know, representation. That was part of why I wanted to do that.
And we're back.
Here we are.
We're back.
Yeah, no.
And Davey keeps using the buttons.
Yeah, no, it was an interesting hearing from Jax on, because yes, he was kind of like, you know, I'm just kind of all in on the gay on this, but you know, he had some different thoughts, as you heard there, from what we kind of picked up on in terms of the queer representation in the game. But I still appreciate what he was trying to do. The next topic I want to touch on with you, though, is visual novels.
What is it?
Visual novels, and there's clearly a market and an audience for them, because as we have found through our journeys through queer digital interactive arts,
they love a visual novel.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're storytellers, right? I think it's queer stories being told in a more accessible and publishable way,
and digestible as well. It's not a thick tome. It's not a video game that has a high skill ceiling or anything. Like it's just
Who do you think would enjoy like a visual novel, especially a visual novel like this?
Well, I think it depends on what people want to get out of it, because I personally never thought I was going to be a visual novel person, but I really enjoyed it because I enjoyed the character writing. So if you like understanding characters, it's perfect in my opinion. But I've always known visual novels to be kind of like a young person thing.
Is it?
I don't know. I feel like that's how I've
You're a
always known
young
them.
person.
I'm youngish.
Yeah.
I'm youth.
You are.
I'm the youth. I'm hip and cool.
Yeah. I mean, aging youth, but yeah,
Yeah, I'm
youth.
getting old. So.
Yeah.
But I
She's
think
getting old.
Well, it's my birthday in 2 weeks, everyone. Shout out.
I know.
But I
We were
think
talking about that yesterday, actually, getting ready for that. So
I think that they're made explicitly good for queer stories, though, because it lets queer people put like art into it and writing and story. What do you think? Who do you think that they are for?
Well, I mean, it's not like reading a novel
No.
because look, there are novels that are definitely slow paced as well, but visual novels always seem to be very slow paced.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, I think I would enjoy a visual novel that's a little bit snappier, but I think from a lot of the people like Jax and other people we've spoken to in the visual novel realm, like, no, it's meant to be like, you're meant to take your time and savor it and get to learn these characters and who they are. And there's this anticipation
Yes,
build.
the anticipation is definitely a part of it. Yeah.
Exactly. I was being edged this entire game. Visual novel.
Edged.
I was being edged this entire game.
Well, you're the one that was being a little hoe bag, so you still got your rocks off, yeah?
Yeah, I guess so.
But I think isn't that like the draw for romance? I know this isn't like exactly just a romance only, but a lot of the romance visual novels, it's all about the anticipation. It's about the work up to it. It's about the journey.
Yeah, the journey. It's the climb.
Oh my God, is that Miley?
Yeah, it is. And so look, I'm still one of those people where I'm like, I appreciate some visual novels and I'm learning to like them a little bit more. I've yet to complete one. That's probably the thing, right? Like even some of the dating sims, we played the Daddy Dating Simulator, which was great. But like even that, geez, took a while to get
It was a
through.
lot of learning who new people are, learning
Yeah,
their
yeah.
personalities, which you have to do because you're telling a story. But it's not like a book where you can just stick it on a page. You have to interact the characters together and have it all on screen. So.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I mean, I think it all comes down to that, right? If the characters in the story are there, then you're in for a good time, and it's going to be like anything, right? You may dive into one and be like, oh, this story is not for me. These characters are not for me, and then what was really interesting is I think it could be really interesting to dismiss something like Sounds of Summer Thunder because it is visually it can be a little bit rough at times, right? And Jax will tell us a little bit more about challenges in like artwork and all that kind of stuff in a second.
Yeah.
But I was compelled by the writing.
Yeah, I thought the characters were really great. It was why I thought it was like funny and silly, and I thought the characters had like actual depth, and I felt bad for them. That's why I didn't cheat on Jarvis.
Yeah. So let's hear from Jax now on some of the technical challenges that he, as an individual all by himself, has in terms of learning to develop a game from scratch and all of the stuff that comes along with it. So let's flip over.
And hear from Jax.
Well, the programming, as I said in my earlier career, I was a coder and programmer, so I already have that background. I just not been familiar with Python. I'd worked more with C++ and C# and some of the other older programs. I'm over 30, so I still remember the days of ICQ. So I already had that skills. It was just learning the ins and outs of Python itself is really the only challenge I had, and it didn't really take me very long at all. To go from just the static images to where I have the animations. I've got the little video things coming in. I added the music and the lyric screens and all of the other stuff, and then enhanced the UI so that it has the buttons on the bottom instead of just the little bitty tiny text at the bottom that's impossible to read.
We're going up beside a moment.
Oh my God, my ears. I'm sorry, everyone. Hopefully that didn't make it in. Patreon.
Just going to do a Patreon version just of us doing this with none of the stuff from Jack's edited in.
Just like the little outtakes of us being stupid. Oh God.
Actually, we will. We'll upload to Patreon like the original audio for everyone to have a listen to.
That'd be
So
fun
I
and
think
silly.
that'd be fun. Right. Anyway, so okay, yeah. So there you have it. So Jax did a lot of work with people on like freelancing sites, whoever he could afford to do for voice acting and other various bits and pieces. The interesting thing that Jax confirmed going into this, because I can remember when you came over the day that we were going to interview Jax, you went, is there AI in this game?
Yeah, I was like, just double checking. Like,
Yeah. Like, and some of the artwork, some of the characters, I think that I knew it definitely. There's the video at the beginning when Kobe gets shot by the lightning. I was like, that's AI video. You could tell, right?
Yeah. Well, it's like they're so like smooth. They've got that AI smoothness, you know what I mean? Like,
and so Jax was really open. Like, I'm just doing this by myself, and I've struggling to find people who can help in this space, and I don't know any artists, and so I've to just get my story out there, I've had to use a little bit of AI for the artwork. Now there are a lot of arguments for and against that approach. And I guess, first of all, like, it's such a nuanced question, right? And I think I could sit here right now and ask you, do you think it's okay for people to be using AI in this thing, right? And it's a hard thing to say yes or no
well, it
to.
depends. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, we used AI for the original logo for this show, right?
Yeah.
But, and I did the same for Trek Masters, but I've since now paid people to do proper non-AI stuff for us because I wanted to have that stuff in. And I know we probably heard from Jack just then, Jack said to us that, if he can find people who can help him, he will go back and remaster and put all that stuff in. So there's a bit of a call out there, by the way.
Yes. We'll put all the links in the description below.
Yeah. If you are someone out there who would like to work with Jax on this project, he's really, really keen. So we'll include links to, he's got like a Discord and a Patreon and all that kind of stuff. Or even if you want to jump on the Patreon, because the financial assistance will help him bring more people onto the project. Because at the end of the day, it's his writing. It's his writing, it's his story. That is but he's had to use some AI elements to help him because he's just doing this all on his own.
Well, AI is like, listen, it's not good. We're not supposed to use it. But AI is supposed to kind of reduce the barrier of entry for certain things. It helps people do stuff easier, right? Jax is one person and he might not be the most creative or artistic person when it comes to drawing. I'm not too sure. And he can't get the people to do it. So would we rather not have the story? I think I'd rather have the story and have a little bit of AI. Call me crazy. Call me crazy.
I know.
You know what I mean? Because it's a barrier of entry thing and it lets people who are creatives actually step up to the plate instead of being limited by things like finance.
Yeah. Well, you said there, right, well, we're not supposed to use it. But do you use AI most days for stuff?
Yeah. I talk to Siri every day. Every single day.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, we've got Copilot at work. I quite regularly use Copilot to help me summarize things and all that kind of stuff. Even sometimes in the lead up to doing this show, if I've got a whole bunch of notes on things, I will sometimes use AI to help me order my notes and all that kind of thing. And that's because I'm this is a side gig, right? And we do this on a Sunday afternoon when we've got a little bit of time and in between our full-time jobs and social lives and every kind of stuff. And that's a little hangout time, isn't it?
Love you, bitch.
Love you, bitch. But you're saying the right thing, which is, it's a side gig and it was his little passion project as well. He was working. I believe he's retired now, but it's still work on the side that he has to do and he can't put in all of his money for it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's okay.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I think
Jax, you've got my pass. Don't worry.
There's a difference here, I think, between Jax, who is someone who I think is just genuinely wanting to tell this story that he loves and that he feels very passionate about in this different medium and isn't quite sure how to engage with artists and all that, but is willing to, versus, say, one of these podcasting companies now that are producing like I saw it on Media Watch the other night. There's like literally an AI podcasting company that releases AI generated podcasts, and they're generating ad revenue from it.
What's the point?
It's just because it's basically the barrier for entry is almost $0.
Yeah.
And they can make and they can pump out. They've literally pumped out thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of different podcasting content, and they sign up for the advertising revenue, right? Like each episode, I think they worked it out. The amount of content they have out there, if each episode gets somewhere around an average of 20 downloads, they're making their money. They're making a profit.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like I saw a thing about YouTube Shorts, kind of similar, where they'll just have an AI voice and an AI script, and they'll make a YouTube short and they'll stick an ad on it, and thousands of people do it, and they pump out 50 a day. So
Yeah.
we're talking about ethical AI use here.
I know, and
It's also we're probably not qualified to really talk about
well,
it.
it's an existential crisis that I think is happening. And no, I don't know if it's about being qualified. I think we as consumers of media, right? Like I do not want an AI podcast.
No.
Like
I want our podcast.
Nor do I want to read a book that was written by AI or watch a movie that used AI instead of real actors and all that kind of stuff, right? Jax is in a situation here where he's used some AI to help him learn and get off the ground. And as he grows and learns, he'll be replacing a lot of that along the way.
Well, the AI is supplementing the art, not replacing the art. It's supplementing his story. It's not the whole thing. So
exactly.
That's what I think is the difference.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, sorry, Jax. We didn't really mean to use your game as a philosophical debate or the existential crisis
lyrical about AI.
That is AI. I'm just going to start bleeping every time I say AI. AI, what a piece of shit.
Oh. You hear that, Siri?
Yeah.
Hey, Alexa.
But anyway, look, what are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments, but be respectful about it. What I would say is, don't disregard something like if you would love your visual novels, especially like gay romance stuff, and it's not like overly smutty or anything like that. I think you could do a lot worse than Sound of Summer Thunder. Allow yourself to get to know these characters who are written by a human being who has poured a lot of soul and passion into them and all that kind of stuff. So before we wrap up, let's get some final thoughts from Jax.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Well, I have the Steam page, which I've just recently updated. I'm also on the itch.io. Excuse me. I'm also on itch.io. And I've got my Patreon page under, I can't remember if it's under Jax or Jackson Cord, but I have that available. And if you watch sometimes, I'll be on Pajama Kins or Ty's streams. I like to sit in on their streams.
And we're back.
I'm doing that next time.
Okay, yes. So, final thoughts on Sounds of Summer Thunder?
Final thoughts. It's helping me enjoy visual novels more. It's getting me into the groove of experiencing writing, which is something that you're a little bit more of a forte of than I. I definitely wouldn't judge a book by its cover because it is basically done just by himself. You want to get to the story because the story is kind of where all the good juices are and the great characters. But yeah, I think it's fun. Check it on. What about you?
Yeah, definitely. I would not discount it, as I said before, right? And it doesn't cost a lot. Like I'm looking at the itch page at the moment. It's a pay as you, I believe it's a, what do you call it? Like pay what you want kind of thing. So
Pay what you think you should pay.
Yeah, so I think you can get it for like $5 if you really want to, but it is on Steam as well. For $21.95, which isn't too bad because day one, which is what is available right now, there's quite a lot there to it. And there's actually a review up here, which is good to see, a positive review. I'm going to read that out from someone called Zach2D. Bought on a whim, and I'm surprised how much fun I had. And I'm thinking the same, Zach.
Yeah.
Like I went into this initially going, I'm not sure, but I ended up having a really, really good time, even giggling at at the legless characters as they waddled across the screen. Prose voice acting, multiple branching paths with different outcomes, fun and interesting concept, man out of time trying to get laid. That is the best.
Very true.
That is the best. Cons, glitches, which will be fixed and patched. It's good. And like I like the use of real voice acting and all that kind of stuff. Like because I do get a little over the reading.
Yes.
in visual novels.
And I thought the music was really a cute touch as well. I really appreciated the music.
Yep. I'm excited to see what Jax continues to do with this story and how Jax will get to learn more about this art and craft and improve it over time. We really put a call out there because we know that we have some people who listen to this show who are in the creative space. I'm sure Jax would love to hire and work with you. So check out his Patreon and his Discord in the link below. So Sounds of Summer Thunder. It's a don't judge a book by its cover kind of experience. And thank you so much to Jax for we really enjoyed your chat with you. Even though we said that, unfortunately the audio is not great on Mitch and mine's behalf, Patreon subscribers, we will actually post that. It's listenable, right? It's just not...
We just suck.
It's just not something that we wanted to put out as a podcast. So we will put that out so you can hear the full interview on patreon.com/BQN for subscribers at all levels. So keep an eye out for that. Oh, dear.
Dear me.
So what are we going to be doing next?
Now, next after this, we're going to be looking at an upcoming gem that we have been looking forward to for a while.
Gas Station Story. We're going to be reviewing that in our next episode. We're very, very excited.
Been waiting for it for a while.
Yeah, some people may remember I interviewed Enzi when this game was still just a demo. It's now been released. We've been playing and we've got a full interview coming your way.
Get excited, everyone. Buckle in.
I know, buckle in for that. Well, we'll see you that for the next one. But until then, I've been Davey.
And I've been Mitch.
And we've been...
The Bargain Bin Gamer.
I do want to do that again.
Well, you're taking the spotlight.
No.
Because I can't, it doesn't do mine.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll do it without. All right.
Are you ready?
I've been Davey.
And I've been Mitch.
And we've been
The Bargain Bin Gamers.
Romp.
There we go.
The Bargain Bin Gamers are coming to dominate your home.
Help, please. Someone.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you give it a big thumbs up on YouTube or follow the podcast wherever you get your podcast from and leave us a 5-star review. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Blue Sky and follow along on our live Twitch streams. You can also continue the conversation in our BQN podcast Discord by clicking the link in the episode description. Don't forget that the Bargain Bin Gamer is part of a larger network of podcasts called the BQN. You can support this and other BQN programs by becoming a patron over at patreon.com/BQN. We'd love to hear your feedback on the episode. Leave us a comment on YouTube or send us an email to bargainbingamer, GAYMER, @gmail.com. Until next time, au revoir.
Double T Media.